Nostalgia Street invites you on a retro ride that's more than just a trip down memory lane.
Uncover life lessons and personal growth stories that stem from our collective past.
So you can live a richer, more connected life today.
Whether you're a 90s kid, an 80s teen, or simply young at heart, you'll find something to relate to in each episode.
Now, here are your hosts, Vince and Jeff. Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Street. I'm Jeff, and this is my partner, Vince. We have a special episode today. Typically, we would have a guest on, but we've been through some stuff, and I'm going to let Vince tell you more about that.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. It's the first episode of 2024, and I know you're all celebrating the new goals you want to accomplish this year and reminiscing about the past 2023. But Jeff and I have seen some things. We actually we went back to the future.
We went on a trip without drugs. We can't exactly explain to you how we took this trip, but we can definitely tell you that we learned a few things that we're a little concerned about. Four key areas is really what we were wanting to talk with you about. What you can expect in 2024. By this time, 2024, all four of our big topics have happened. We're going to be talking about the impact of AI, the real impact. We're going to be talking about
the Olympics,
the Olympics and what has happened. Well, what will happen, I should say.
A secret the government's been keeping from us for years.
Yeah, we're going to finally talk about that. And then we're going to tell you
how the election's going to go.
Yeah, how the election's going to go. We had to come back before things were finalized, but we got a pretty good idea about how it's going to play out, and it's not what you would expect. So we invite you to stay to the end of this episode, and for good reason.
And full disclaimer, we could not show you any of the imagery that we captured on our trip because it would break the space-time continuum and the multiverse. So you're just going to have to listen in very vividly. Your imagination will be more than enough. And walk with us down Nostalgia Street and see what 2024 has in store for you.
I mean, we're totally flipping things upside down, but we felt it was necessary as good citizens of the community. We had to bring this to you. So let's just kick right into gear. AI.
Yeah, that's the hot topic right now. All 2023, all we heard about was AI this, AI that. Well, in 2024, AI reaches a new level that you would have never expected.
I mean, it's been right in front of us this entire time. In fact, just coming off of Christmas 2023, I'm sure many of you probably received these little demons on our carpet.
You'd never expect it. It's something that's been with us all this time. It's not your Siri. It's not your Google. It's not your Alexa. It's been in your home for a longer time than you thought it was.
Okay.
Are you gonna be okay?
I'll be okay.
Are you? Jeff is so distraught. He is so distraught by this revelation that we saw in 2024. We still can't wrap our minds around it.
It sucks to tell you this.
It literally sucks.
It literally sucks. But what we're talking about, this AI creature that's been with us for so long, brace yourselves. But your Roomba, your Shark, your robotic vacuum cleaner is not the friendly household item that you thought it was.
See, you see, in 2024 is the first step our world goes towards the future you see in the Terminator or the Matrix. Because in 2024, a virus, not unlike COVID, but for electronic devices, affects robotic vacuum cleaners.
And if you think about it, we talked to a few physicists, and right now AI is trying to shut us down with those noises that we can hear. Maybe, hopefully you can't. But if you look into this, a lot of these robotic vacuums use laser projection software so that they know where to go and who to kill.
Well, let's back up a moment. Before they know how to kill, these vacuums that have been with us, Jeff, they literally, they know how we sleep. They know what kind of snacks you like. They know how many times your wife has farted. They know more about us than most people do. But when they connect to the internet and this virus gets them and they learn, that's where the frightening truth happens.
And we were fortunate not to see any of the horrific crimes and murders ourselves in person. We stayed outdoors
Yeah.
most of the time.
But there's hope. There's hope. In June of 2024, what happens is the world government comes together and they round up all the robotic vacuums. And where do they take them, Jeff? Oh, man, he's so distraught. Like I don't know. Like this man.
It's
Like
so sad. I spent so much on it. My wife will never forgive me, but all of the vacuums were rounded up and sent to the deserts in Australia, where they're gonna live out their happy life.
it's the kangaroo's problems now.
Because it makes sense. I guess
There's just a lot of dust. There's nothing there.
yeah, it's flat, so those little guys will just smack into each other. So what we're trying to really tell you here, let's get serious for a second. By the end of 2024, members of your family may not be with you any longer if you don't take action right now. Disconnect your Roomba. Take a hammer. We've heard hammers work well.
Yep.
Cars,
Yep.
running over them. We hear that works well.
But do it deliberately. If you do not make sure that it is dead, it will come back for you.
Don't mess around. And if you're listening to this in your house, turn it off right away or turn on the headphones, because it knows.
Oh, it knows.
We had no other way to tell you than through this platform. So be careful.
Yep.
But
And, as the TikTok influencers of 2024 have dubbed this is the Doomba crisis.
the Roomba Doomba.
The Roomba Doomba. So please, let's avoid the Roomba Doomba, disconnect it. Okay, now on to the next piece of things that we've got going on for you. Let's talk about the Olympics. The Olympics is happening this year
my
in
God.
Paris.
Now,
And
this I can laugh and be happy about, because
this is one bright news in the
Yeah.
sea of just
we started with the bad news, and it will get better and better. So, yeah, the Olympics in Paris, we were lucky to not only go back, go forward in time, but we were able to get
see it.
on a plane and get to the Eiffel Tower and all the surroundings of Paris. And the Olympics this year,
They're doing some great things.
They got some heat going for them. So let's dive into some of the things that we saw. The first thing that we noticed is that there was a lot of conversation last year about what women were wearing, the unfairness of women wearing basically bikinis while playing volleyball, beach volleyball. So the Olympic Committee in I think it was March of 2024, as the story goes, made a decree, and
equality.
equality is here, or was there, or will be there. So the men's wrestling team will now be wearing the women's beach volleyball outfits, and the women's beach volleyball outfits were replaced with men's wrestling outfits. And this was really the only event that we saw in person,
Yeah.
but we've heard it might help, or it might happen in other events too.
Well, and in other news too, the U.S. men's wrestling team, which in 2024 was headed by Vince McMahon, him from WWE, he was quoted as saying, "That's bitchin'," in regards to his wrestlers now wearing women's volleyball uniforms.
Now, other things that we really were thankful for, attendance was down, viewership was down for the Olympics in the past few years, and so the committee, again, I think this was in April of 2024. They enacted a few more changes. So one of them, it's kind of cool, is the national anthems for all these countries have gone bye-bye.
Yeah, because the Olympic Committee saw that it was, in a continually polarized world, why should we be pushing out nationalism and making people fight each other? Let's just get rid of national anthems, and we're going to play some classics every time someone wins.
And so, the gold medalist, he gets to choose, or he or she gets to choose what they want. And in a display of solidarity,
Yeah.
they all dance.
They all
on the
dance.
first, second, and third place podiums. I mean, a tear's almost coming to my eye.
Oh my gosh!
as I
When the
think about it.
Tanzanian national team won and they played Rick Astley, Jeff, I cried. I never thought that a grown group of men would love never going to give you up so much.
Well, I like the track team myself from Zimbabwe with Don't Stop Believing.
Oh man.
I mean,
and how about the Canadians with Dancing Queen? You would have never thought that the Canadians would come out in force and just sweep the archery competition and then choose ABBA.
yeah, it was.
It was truly a global event for the ages. You guys will look forward to it.
And speaking of the Canadians, the other thing we didn't talk about yet is, the medals. It's been a little too much. People have had their medals stolen. And so this year the committee decided, let's make the medals edible. And so speaking of Canadians, if you're a bronze medalist in 2024, you get Canadian bacon in place of the bronze medal.
Maple syrup is extra there. So the main thing,
silver. Wait, you got it.
Well, the silver. I don't know. I remember that. Let's see. The silver's gotta be. I don't know. Shoot, they were so small I couldn't even tell. And
I think they were quarters.
Well, and some of those athletes,
those aren't edible.
They were so famished after exerting all their energy, they just took a bite out of their medal, and we never knew what happened to it. Well, there was some talk though that the committee wanted to start giving livestock as prizes because like ancient Greece when they had the original Olympics, it was like you win a goat, you win a chicken. So maybe that's for 2028.
I think that's a safe move. 2026, when it's the winter time, I think we're going to see all new rules, but that's not supposed to become official until 2025.
Yeah.
So maybe we can
find another phone booth and see what that looks like. So moving on from the world of sports.
All right, I predicted this one.
Oh, he did. He predicted this one since like 1995.
So a lot of people saw Taylor, what's her last name? Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And the first time they came out and they rode around in Travis's car that night. And I told my wife, there's no way that a celebrity couple just comes out for the first time in front of everybody. I think that they probably were dating ahead of time. And sure enough, we find out that's the case. Well, so this is like that. And we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off. We're talking about aliens and we're talking about Hangar 51, Area 51.
It's real.
It's a real thing. And we were able to not only see this on TV, but we were able to visit the facility too. So here's what's going on, folks, is that UFOs have continued to come out. The government has had to say, hey, we can't hide this anymore. And so Area 51 is it's an alien civilization that's been living underneath our deserts for decades.
It all came out to light in June of 2024 when these mysterious lights happened simultaneously in China, in Toronto, in Dusseldorf, in Omaha. Like everyone saw these lights and there was no denying it. Every TikToker and Instagrammer and whoever had their phones out, and the government just had to come out and say, yep, we got aliens. They've been hanging out with us. And actually,
Dusseldorf.
I
didn't get the memo on Dusseldorf. They left that one out of my sheet. I got to talk to the producer.
It's on there.
Oh my Lord.
So what we didn't realize, and as part of like the PR campaign to let people know that the aliens were friendly, was they showed us that some of the products we've been using for a long time are derivatives of alien technology. Our smartwatches, Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt.
Like Go-Gurt, like in a tube. Like that's an alien thing.
Thankfully, the Roombas were not part of alien technology.
They should have warned us about the Roombas.
They're pretty. The one thing we're finding is that most of the alien technology has been pretty friendly. We've had a lot of negativity about aliens or so much secrecy, but they're actually pretty decent.
Yeah, they gave us TiVo, which was by the time they gave it us, it was pretty cool. But nowadays it's kind of like, thanks guys, what's better?
TiVo or Devo?
TiVo.
Well, I heard Devo.
What's a Devo?
It's Crack That Whip. That's nostalgia. Back in the 80s. They gave us Devo.
They probably did because they've been around.
TiVo.
I mean, the aliens have been around since Roswell at least, and that's like 1940, 50. I don't know.
So where this goes, we're not really sure, but Area 51 was named for when they were going to actually let us know about them, and that was going to be in the year 2051.
Yeah, so cat's out the bag, 27 years early.
27 years early.
Yep.
So again, for those of you who are just coming in on this episode, Vince and I have returned from our trip to the future.
Yep.
And we're just here to report on the facts. That's all.
And, the wildest thing about all this is we found out that everything that we have found out, we've been conditioned to believe it. Like, the government's put out these movies, they've put out these TV shows, they've funded shows so that we get used to the idea that there are other things happening in this world that we don't know about, whether it's death
X-Files.
machine vacuums or aliens living among us.
X-Files hinted at quite a bit of this.
Yeah.
And now we know it's real. And I, for one, am grateful.
So that rounds us off to our last point. So, in 2024 so far, we've heard about the rise of AI robots via or machine or vacuums.
I wish we could go live right now so that we could try to see if somebody wanted to guess what this last topic is, because it's the biggest thing.
But if we went live, they probably would censor us instantly.
Well, we'd probably be abducted.
Yeah.
Not by aliens either.
So 2024 comes to a head. You've got the AI robots running everywhere. You've got the Olympics trying their best to bring some light to humanity. You've got the revealing evidence of aliens. So we talked to 2024. We talk about the election, the big deal. And first,
go ahead. It doesn't go down the way you think it does at all.
Yeah, it's a great thing you brought up, Taylor Swift earlier, because right in September of 2024, Taylor Swift announces candidacy for U.S. presidency, but she can't run. She's not old enough. So what happens?
Swiftie rebellion.
Every 14 to 44-year-old woman and all the Brads and Chads and Dads threaten to throw a riot. So what does Congress do, Jeff?
Well, first off, I guess, we had the Roomba rebellion, the Doomba.
Yeah, the Doomba
and
rebellion.
now the Swiftie rebellion. It's
chaos.
We're a hurting country, and I think what Congress has put together is a
change,
pretty much a genius change. So here's what happens. Joe Biden, he dies mysteriously. Donald Trump, he dies mysteriously. In fact, all of the candidates mysteriously die. We're not really sure if they were caught up in the
sucked
Roomba.
to death.
Sent to death.
Sucked to death.
Sucked to death. Yeah, they could have been. So here's what Congress decided on. It's pretty amazing what they did. All 100 senators from the United States Senate were flown to Alaska
and dropped off with nothing.
And if you've seen Hunger Games, then you kind of know the rest of the story. The senators were given basically nothing out in the middle of the wilderness, and it was a fight to the death over who could kill who to become president of the United States. And it was about a 3-week battle just in Alaska.
And you should have seen the fact that there was a feud in the media houses about who could stream it. Fox took out CNN, and CNN took out Disney, and ESPN was sitting there just at the end, like placing bets. Like Jeff and I, if we had the opportunity, we would go back and we would place bets on whatever that betting platform is.
Yeah, we don't want to say who won just yet, because that would cause a tilt against us.
And it was a 2-stage competition, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah. So at the end of 3 weeks, we were left with 10 U.S. senators, and then those senators were given special instructions and equipment, and they had 2 weeks to make it to Washington, D.C., and they had to put their lives on the limb, because now we're down to 10. Yep. And so Congress decided it was only fair for the American people to quite literally pick the winner or to kick the shit out of the losers.
Yeah.
And so as they made their way back to the U.S., it was pretty graphic.
It's free for all.
Nine senators lost their lives on their way back to D.C.
Yeah. And the last one, which we can't reveal to you, it was stipulated that if they made their way to D.C., fighting through their competitors, fighting through their constituents, winning the hearts and minds of everybody, they had to climb the steps of the Lincoln Monument and sit on Abraham Lincoln's lap. That person would then be crowned president champion of the United States. See, like, it was a wild
It was
year. Like,
so patriotic.
like the Supreme Court passed this amendment without any buy-in from anybody else.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Change happened.
Change happened. And if you think about it, now we have a solution to term limits
Yeah.
because nobody is going to stay in Congress, in the Senate for 2 years because why, Vince?
2 terms. Because written in the amendment was that if you make it to your second term as a senator, you become automatically eligible for the next presidential Hunger Games.
Battle Royale.
Presidential battle royale. I forget what the branding behind it is because I forget if it was ESPN or some other network that ended up winning the streaming rights. You'll find out later this year.
Like no more old white guys getting into politics. Now we're talking about the fittest of the fittest.
Man, you should have seen what happened. I mean, I wish I could show you guys what happened when Mitch and Chuck duked it out.
Yeah, it didn't take long. Mitch froze up and
we
Chuck,
can't give away too much away.
Yeah,
Can't give too much away.
let's,
It's a little bit graphic too. So
yeah, but yeah, you want to talk about a crazy election in 2024. No more commercials that we all hate to watch. It's 24/7 for about 5 weeks, watching and tracking our senators in ways that far supersede the Watergate briefings.
Well,
it was pretty spectacular.
Because in a world that's post the revealing of aliens,
In a
post
world.
an AI rebellion, post a Swiftie rebellion, we needed a strong leader, and
Yeah.
this was the best they could come up with.
Yeah. And he or she, we can't say. I feel pretty good. I feel like we're America once again because we don't want to say which one, but there's a certain Russian leader. Oh, shoot. I hope maybe we can delete that in editing. But yeah, this particular leader, he's literally shaking in his boots at the turnout and the rage that we saw, and that nobody's going to mess with our Senate anymore.
You know, I've never felt so proud to be American as much as I did after that election, and also when we saw the men's wrestling team in their new uniforms on the podium dancing to "Take on Me." Like, they were defiant. They showed the world that the U.S. is still here. We are strong. And then, you know, just as quickly as we came into the future, Jeff and I were kicked back to the past to share this all with you.
Sucked back.
So
where do we go from here?
well, 2024, you know, is as we've shared with you guys, is going to be one of the craziest, most pivotal years ever. And there's so many stories that we didn't get the chance to share. But most importantly, the stories that we're most excited to share are yours.
We're very excited to share your stories as much as we've shared these stories that we've told today. How many people are even listening or continue to listen at this point? I think we've lost them all.
I still believe hashtag. So Nostalgia Street's always been a show about looking back on the past and seeing what we can learn from the future. We went back to the future this time to share with you what we learned from the future so we could learn to be better. But what we're really looking forward to is the guests that we're going to have this year, the stories we're going to share.
And sharing ourselves a little bit more. That's one of the things we've heard is, hey, what do you guys like? And for people that don't know us, you know, can we see more of your personalities? And so we thought this show might emulate that. We work hard. We toil endlessly at our editing computers and shooting cameras, but we still have a lot of fun. And hopefully you found this episode not only educational and alarming, but also fun.
Hopefully it'll inspire you to make better decisions as we go into 2024.
And whether you're going to run for Congress
or keep or buy a robotic vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, keep yourself clear of that technology.
Yeah. So despite killer Roombas, non-traditional, traditional Olympics, alien revelations, or a presidential battle royale, at the heart of it, at the forefront of what we do here, it's the people. It's you guys. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next time on a more regular episode of Nostalgia Street.
Happy 2024.
Watch out for the robots. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. If you're on iTunes, please take a moment and leave us a rating and review.
Head on over to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. You'll get access to engaging visuals that complement our podcast content.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we look forward to having you with us on our next episode. So until next time, listeners, stay curious, stay engaged,
Never stop walking down Nostalgia Street.